Hi, everybody. Welcome. Just checking to see if I'm live here. And it looks like I am. Great. Yay. So, welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We are here tonight for some mindful sitting, mindful moving, and to talk about the last chapter of our book, Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. So, what I thought we could start with before we do anything is starting with a little quote. So, this quote is by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he writes, "Mindful living is an art. You can practice it anytime, anywhere, while doing anything. You do not have to rush. If you hurry, you waste the time of your task. The time you spend doing all your everyday tasks is precious. It is a time for being alive. When you practice mindful living, peace will bloom during your daily activities." Very simple, right? I wish it was just as simple in our activities and in practice. The reason why I chose this wonderful, simple quote is because chapter 11 talks a lot about this in the book Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. There's a paper with my notes on it. And we will be getting into that a little bit later. We're going to talk about chapter 11. So, I'd like to invite anybody who's tuning in, just drop a comment, say hello, and maybe name something, one thing that brought you joy today. It was such a warm day today in Massachusetts. I don't know where you are. Well, this is the Uxbridge Library Facebook page, so uh, maybe you are in Massachusetts. But no matter where you were, please drop a comment and let us know you're here. And also, um, uh, let us know one thing that brought you joy today. So, um, today, like I said, we're going to be doing some mindful sitting, mindful moving, and we're going to be talking about our book. So, we're going to start off with a short seated meditation. And for anybody that is new to meditation, the goal is not to push the thoughts from your mind if you happen to be having any. The goal is to be able to sit with whatever comes up. So if a thought about, today, in the past of today comes up, just noticing it, watching it, allowing it to be there, and allowing it to float on by. And the more that we practice this, um, the quieter and quieter our minds can get. And so the goal is, again, not to push the thought, but to just acknowledge it and to let it be there. So I'm going to start with a short guided meditation, and then we're going to move into a short silent meditation. And I have my trusty bell here. That means this signifies that when I invite the bell, because we do not strike the bell, we invite the bell. And between each sound of the bell, we take 3 deep breaths in. And what this does is it allows us time to come back to our breath, come back to our body, and come back to our true home, which is ourselves. So we may have gotten scattered throughout the day. This is a wonderful opportunity to come back to ourselves and come back to our breath. So I'm going to invite the bell 3 times, and you can breathe nice and easy, no arduous contrived breaths, just nice, easy breaths, 3 times in between each sound of the bell. So I'm going to start by waking up the bell. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. We send our hearts out along with the sound of the bell. May all who hear it awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Breathing in. I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in. I follow my in-breath from its very beginning to its very end. Breathing out. I follow my out-breath from its very beginning to its very end. In, out, beginning, end. Breathing in, I stop and I calm my body. Breathing out, I rest and I heal my body. Stopping, calming, resting, healing. So go ahead and follow your breath for the next little while as we move into silent meditation. And we'll just sit in silent meditation for the next few minutes or so until you hear the next sound of the bell. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just feel your body's posture. Feel your breath. And acknowledging thoughts that are coming into your head. And just allow them to pass. And I'm going to invite the small bell for stretching and massage. And just feel free to stretch, twist your body, turn your body, move your body, however you feel guided to after sitting for the last couple of minutes. And so for this next piece, this is mindful movement. And one of my Sangha sisters, Sangha just means mindfulness community. And one of my Sangha sisters like to do Bhangaran. So Bhangaran, Bahghran, I believe it's called. It's this Indian/Hindu practice of shaking. And it's just based on the idea that human beings, when animals want to shake, they shake off trauma, they just shake after they've, had a close call with another animal, or maybe they, are feeling pain. So something that animals do is to just shake it off. That's what that phrase comes from. So Bhangaran dance in the Hindu tradition is this very upbeat music. It's kind of like Bollywood music, and you just shake your body. So that's what we're going to be doing for our mindful movement portion today, especially after we just did our mindfulness sit. So go ahead and just shake. Shake your hands, shake your shoulders. If you want to stand up, you can shake your booty, shake your belly, shake your bum, shake your thighs and your legs and your feet. You can turn all of your joints. That's a place that trauma likes to get stored. You can turn your ankles. You can turn your hips. You can make circles. So you're just going to shake, shake, shake. And this is usually done for upwards of 2 to 3 minutes, but we're only going to do this for maybe 1 more minute. So you just shake your head, your neck, crack, 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 crack. I just hear all my bones cracking. Shake, 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 shake. Yes. Just shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it all off. Any election stress, shake it off. Any tension or stress in your family home or with friends or family or some confusion or stress, just shake it all off. Shake, shake, shake. All right, now pause and stop and come to resting center. And wow, what are you feeling? I'm feeling some blood flow like crazy, guys. Wow, that was great. Exactly what we needed, right? So now that we've done our mindful movement and we got some nice blood flow going, we're going to do another short silent meditation. So I'm going to invite the bell, and then we're going to go into our another not guided but short silent meditation until the next sound of the bell. So you got that? I'm going to invite the bell. We're going to sit, and then I will invite the bell again when it's time to come back. Okay? Finding the breath, finding the comfortable position to sit, somewhere between restfulness and wakefulness. Now I'll invite the bell. And then we'll sit in silent meditation until the next sound of the bell. And I'll invite the small bell for stretching and massage. Twisting your body, turning your body, stretching your body, coming back from our meditation. And so the next thing we're going to be doing is talking about anger, the book Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. And we are on our last chapter. Can you believe we've been studying this book for 11 months? One chapter a month? Crazy, huh? There's so many amazing things in this chapter, and in this book, really. But what a great note to end on, you guys. So the name of this chapter is Restoring the Pure Land. And that's what Thich Nhat Hanh truly lays out for us in this chapter about experiencing our anger, but not just experiencing our anger, but it's kind of tied into the mindfulness quote that I said before, that every single thing that we do in mindfulness throughout the day, it contributes to our actions, whether it's dealing with our anger, dealing with strong emotions, reconciling with a loved one, all of that. So he starts out by saying in the chapter that if you're not feeling something 100%, you can't do it. Don't do it. It's not important. It's crucial that you have all of the energy there to do it. And not just the energy, because what he lays out is that he had written 3 volumes of the history of Buddhism. And it's basically the book Old Path, White Cloud. So he was going to write a 4th book about it. And he was going to write about the history of Buddhism in Vietnam, more specifically. And that's his pet project. He said in this chapter, he loves to be a historian. But that would take about a year, and that would mean he could not give Dharma talks, he could not host retreats, he could not help ease people's suffering all around him. He'd have to just do that task. And he said some tasks, even though that we have the drive and we want to do it, it may not be 100% of the picture. So there's other things that he wanted to do that take more priority. And he was talking about this in the chapter. He was saying, why don't you spend all the time? Like, for instance, if you go get a degree, he says, you spend what, 4 to 6 years, depending if you get a bachelor's or a master's. You spend 4 to 6 years getting a degree. But he said, what would it be like if we actually took those years and we devoted it to treasuring our relationships with our partner, or treasuring our relationship with a friend, or with our family? He says, write the book on yourself. Devote all that time and energy that you were devoting to something else outside of yourself. Devote it to yourself to cultivate what he calls the nectar of compassion. So you want to have the nectar of compassion for yourself as you learn how to navigate all of these things like anger, strong emotions, reconciliation with other people, all of these things. He says that there's ideas and notions, and that these things could be very limiting. So we can get an idea that we want to write a book, because he talks about this person that came to Plum Village, which is one of his practice centers, and that this person wanted to interview Thich Nhat Hanh because he wanted to write a book about Thich Nhat Hanh and Trappist monk Thomas Merton. And Thich Nhat Hanh says, wait a minute, why are you writing a book on Thomas Merton? There's already been a lot of books written about him. Why don't you write a book about yourself? You can learn and understand yourself, and that will help you, but it will also help other people around you. So that's why Thich Nhat Hanh was saying, write a book on yourself. Um, Write a letter. If he says, if you have these emotions that you want to get out, this is another point in the chapter that he's talking about. If you feel like you're not skillful enough to speak um, with skill and also with compassion, try to write a letter. He says, take 1 or 2 weeks to write this letter. He says it's more important than writing a book about the history of Buddhism in Vietnam. And he says it's more important than writing a book about Thomas Merton. He likes to tie that all together. He says, if you write a letter to your loved one about some misperceptions that you had, or if you're trying to reconcile with them, take 1 or 2 weeks. There's no rush on this. Take the time. And he also says, have somebody read this letter. Have somebody pass it in front of a friend of yours that can give you feedback, because you want to give your best self to this letter. He said, mindfulness practices will help you be solid in writing your letter. So he says, he told a story about how somebody came to visit Plum Village and said, ah, yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh, I see you like to grow lettuce. Why don't you stop growing lettuce and just write those beautiful poems that you love to write? Don't grow lettuce, just spend all your time writing the poems. And Thich Nhat Hanh said, I would not be able to write these beautiful poems if it were not for me growing this beautiful lettuce. And what he meant by that, as he explains in the chapter, is that every single moment that he spends doing a task in mindfulness contributes to the moments of mindfulness that he will use to write the letter to his loved ones, or in this case, to write a beautiful poem. That they are not separate. And one of the most beautiful metaphors he uses in the chapter is that of birthing a project. And he said, the time when you write the music or write the poem is the time of delivering a baby. And that all of those moments that you were peeling the potatoes, washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, they all contributed to writing the poem or writing that piece of music. And he goes on to talk about a mother that is pregnant who is going to have and birth a child, that a mother doesn't all of a sudden birth a child. She has to carry the child for 9 months and care for the child. She's very joyful when she thinks of the baby in her belly. She eats foods to nourish the child in her belly. She treats herself kindly with exercise, and she nourishes her body because she knows that she's carrying her baby. And that's what Thich Nhat Hanh is saying about his beautiful piece of music or his lovely poem that he's going to write, is that the moment that you sit down to write the poem is the moment of labor and delivery. But what about all that time leading up to the moment where he's writing his poem? That those points of mindfulness, they matter as well. So he says, make good use of every moment to allow insight and concentration to bloom. I just love that. The time you take to write the letter may be your whole life, he says. That's the last sentence of the entire book. So I really loved this chapter. I thought this was a beautiful chapter for the book to end on. And there's so many rich things in this book. In fact, in the appendix, There's something called the peace treaty, which is what you and another person would sign if you had a disagreement and you wanted to work on it together. You would print this out and you would both write it, and you were there's points in it like I am determined not to talk when I am angry, that I will wait however long it takes for me to calm my anger. There's also the 5 mindfulness trainings in the appendix, and there's guided meditations for looking deeply and releasing anger. There's also a deep relaxation meditation, which I believe is on the Plum Village app. If you have a mobile device, you can get the Plum Village app, and there's a section there for deep relaxation. And I believe that the deep relaxation meditation from this book, Anger, is actually in the Plum Village app. So I hope you'll check that out. So before we wrap up, we're going to do just one last sit. So go ahead and get into a comfortable position. And I will invite the bell 3 times. And then we can enjoy our breath and enjoy our sitting practice until the next sound of the single bell. And we'll sit in silent meditation until the next sound of the bell. I'm going to invite the small bell for stretching and massage. Nice stretch. Great. So thank you, dear ones, for your practice this evening. I would like to say, I know that in the description here, I have written what the next dates are and what we are going to be doing. But I thought I would just tell you that November 19th, we are going to be doing our usual sitting meditation and mindful movement, but we are also going to be practicing the 16 exercises from the Sutra on the full awareness of breathing from this book, Awakening of the Heart. And Thich Nhat Hanh has translated this wonderful sutra, and there are 16 practices that were set out by the Buddha to calm the mind, calm the body, calm the mind again, and to calm your consciousness. And so we are going to be talking about that, and we are going to be doing the practices on November 19th. And then we're going to start a new book, which is Being Peace by Thich Nhat Hanh. And on December 3rd, we're going to do chapter 1. And the thing about Being Peace is that there's only 7 chapters in this book. It's a tiny book, but it packs a punch. So there's only 7 chapters in this book. On December 3rd, we're going to do chapter 1. December 17th, we're going to do chapter 2. And then we will be announcing more dates, January, February, March, coming up. So again, thank you so much for your practice, and I hope you have a really great evening. This is Jenny bowing out. Take care.